How are you today?
I'm good. I'm just hanging out, doing some interviews. We've had quite a marathon of press for this tour, so I'm pretty excited. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, definitely. And you are coming to Australia and you are going to be touring with Psychroptic, who are good friends of yours, aren't they?
Yeah, we've had a lot of experience with those guys. We brought them over to tour with on Summer Slaughter, and they were part of our first tour in Oz, and we've toured with them in Europe, and they're just the best. I mean, I was a big fan before I even knew them, and they just keep getting better and better, man, so I'm really excited to be back with them.
Awesome. When you leave Australia, you're headed straight to Europe after that, so is this like this year is all about touring for you?
Yeah, and that's pretty much typical Black Dahlia for us is once the album is recorded, just get back out there, so pretty much as we speak, we are putting the last notes in the mix and stuff. And, then it all starts all over again, 8 bazillion shows a year. And, but we've been home for a long time now, kind of getting recharged, and I'm ready and willing to go back out. So,
can I ask what you do when you are at home and you're not touring?
Yeah. Mostly boring. I mostly just sit around and, you go back to normal life where nobody thinks you're cool and you have parents and they're up your ass and the whole world goes back to being up your ass again, So I needed to come home to kind of decompress, because we'd just been so busy the last few years that this was literally the longest time we ever took off since 2003. So, it was definitely well needed. We're ready to go back on attack,
Yeah, and Black Dahlia Murder, you were one of the original members. Were you there with the naming of the band?
Yeah, it's actually my fault. It was the only thing I could find that had any kind of impact, that scared me, because that name, you get the violence of death metal, so I was looking for a name that was really going to resonate. When I learned about the Black Dahlia case, I thought it was pretty disturbing, and even the most jaded metalhead can get disturbed by that case. It's pretty awesome. And, and really it kind of embodies the death of the American, because the backstory, it's like the girl is an actress. She goes to Hollywood with big dreams and, was cruelly murdered, and it kind of signifies the darkening of times where, everything was so cheery and happy, and then everybody realized that, yikes, lock your doors at night, So it's definitely a significant crime, especially here in the States.
Yeah. And did that actually influence your early writing?
Yeah, there has been throughout the career of the band a few references to the crime. And then finally on Everblack, the first song is addressing the crime full on. And it's really the first time that we've ever just full on talked about it, and I guess I was just saving it for the right moment, I just thought it would be a good way to kind of bring everything back to the beginning, to say, hey man, even though we have these new members here on Everblack, that we are still the Black Dahlia Murder, and we are sticking to our initial mission statement, so it creeps in, and it really, it's not just the violence of the crime, it's more of all the weird stuff surrounding it. There was over 100 false confessions for the crime. How, you know what I mean? That's so weird and kind of disgusting. People want to get the fame for being a murderer, and that's how they want to be known. It's a lot of strange stuff surrounding the case, and there's still private dicks out working on it, and there's still people obsessed with the case. And I don't know if it'll ever be solved or if it'll ever be solved, properly, but it's something that never goes away, and I like how it's just like a stain on America's flag or something, you could say, something that people want to push under the rug. It's a potent crime,
Yeah, and maybe a little bit like death metal too. It's something that a lot of people would like to push under the rug, but it just keeps coming back and getting stronger and stronger.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, for the average person, death metal is still don't anything about it, period, or what they do know about it, they think it's for criminals and some kind of degenerates,
Yeah, but what I'm finding actually is that the people who do the more dark metal and that are actually quite often the nicest people.
Oh, yeah, man. Everybody I've met pretty much out there, even the bands that have the reputation of being terrifying on stage, are cool, and I think everybody is thankful to be out touring, and everybody's thankful to have, fans and have interest in their weird-ass music. So I think most people you run into on tour are kind, you know.
Yeah, can you think like someone that you've met that has been a really good influence on you or has imparted something that you've remembered and held on to in your career?
Definitely Cannibal Corpse and Napalm Death. We were very lucky to be involved with both of those bands early on in our careers, and they kind of took us under their wing, and they seemed to see something of themselves in us, you know, because they were always really nice, and they would, you know, humor us and tell us all their stories, and, you know, they were the model of what to do because they're still around. They've been around since I was getting into death metal at 13, you know, and they've ridden the wave of popularity, and they've stayed alive when death metal wasn't as popular as it is now, you know, because it seems to kind of come and go through phases of popularity, you know. And right now, though, I think metal is in a big upswing all over the world. It seems like people are getting into it more, like more young people are getting into it, which is exciting, you know. But definitely Cannibal Corpse and Napalm Death for their longevity. And, you know, I think it was a good thing for us to think that way from the very beginning and make decisions that would, you know, prolong our life accordingly.
Yeah. Paul from Cannibal Corpse is like the sweetest person I've ever spoken to, and it really took me by surprise that he was so nice.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I first was exposed to Cannibal, and they were, like, not my first death metal band, but close, but my first, like, obscene death metal band, you know, gory and violent.
Yeah.
And they really, really scared the fuck out of me in the beginning. Like, I couldn't even, like, eat after I encountered Butchered at Birth for, like, a week, you know? So, like, at the time, I thought, wow, what is this music? Like, are these people murderers? Are they, like, weirdos, you know?
Yeah.
In reality, they're just like us. A death metal is kind of like an inside joke, you know? Like, if you can cheer for the bad guy in a slasher movie, then you're meant to be with death metal, you know?
Could I ask, I mean, you don't have to tell us if you don't want to, but is there something that you listen to that would surprise people that is nowhere near death metal?
Oh, there's all kinds of shit. Are you kidding me? I'm like one of the least shameful people in the world, so I'll just spill all the beans. But Harry Connick Jr., Barbara Streisand's live album, One Voice, where she's singing in her back porch. Oh. It doesn't get any more incriminating or quote-unquote gay than that.
And does that in any way help you with your songwriting?
Well, I mean, most of the influence comes from what happened before in death metal, you know, like trying to represent what I like about death metal and what I saw in it as a 15-year-old kid, you know, like cool artwork, you know, scary monsters and just that whole world of the macabre, you know, like I try to present that, you know, but I also have taken influence from pop music, you know, and I think that we have like as a whole band, you know, or as like you wouldn't guess, but, you know, AC/DC is a huge influence on us because of their song structure, you know, like the catchy verse, chorus, verse, having a very concise song with only a few parts where everything is really potent, you know. But, you know, I think it's important to be catchy. It's important to have hooks. Even though it's death metal, it still has to have a strong chorus, you know. So I feel like there is something to be learned from other kinds of music in that regard.
Yeah, and you've got quite a few shows happening in Australia. You do have one of your Melbourne shows is sold out, but you've added an extra show in Melbourne now. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we definitely have an extra one for the kids.
Yeah, an all ages one. But you do hit Australia on the 17th of June in Brisbane, and you are here through until the 27th in Sydney is your final show. And you came out here in 2012 with the Soundwave Festival, and this is going to be your first time back here since then?
Yeah, well, the last two times we came were both Soundwave.
Right.
So I'm really, really excited to get back to, like, you know, club shows where the fans can interact more closely with us, you know, get close, sing into the microphone with me, jump off the stage, hopefully. You know, like, I like festivals. I like the idea of playing in front of new people, you know, but it's not as personal, you know. The stage is always really big. There's always a big barrier where you can't, like, get too close to the crowd. So that kind of puts a wrench in my plans, you know what I mean? Because I like to interact with people, you know.
Yeah. Are we going to wait another 3 years before we see you here, or do you think we might get to see you a little bit quicker than that again?
Well, I mean, we do have a new album brewing, so I would like to come back while the album is still fresh, so I would imagine we'll be back sometime during the cycle for sure,
Yeah. And this is the end of the cycle of the Everblack tour, is it?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. In a way, we've kind of already put it to bed. Like we stopped touring in November and we wrote the new album and stuff. But when we come out there, it's going to be, a good chunk of the songs will be from Everblack. But we're going to play a nice, long, extensive set to kind of make up for the few festival appearances. We're going to play a lot of stuff. We'll be playing well over an hour. And as far as BDM goes, our songs are about 3 minutes. So that's a lot of songs and a lot of blast beats.
Yeah, and will there be some of the stuff that you're working on for the new album that you're performing?
That's still up in the air. I don't know. I mean, ideally, I personally would like to do something new, but, it's a democracy. We're going to have to have some back and forth on that. But I would like to kind of do something new and not consider it just the end of Everblack. So it remains to be seen, but ideally, I would like to do that.
Well, tell the rest of the band that Australian fans would feel very special if they performed one of the new tracks here for the first time.
Yeah, we'll debut some hot shit for you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. We have a great lineup. Psychroptic is awesome, and there's a lot of killer bands doing one-offs on the tour. Truth Corroded is really cool. We played with those guys before. Boris the Blade is on a couple of shows. I'm pretty stoked about that. There's a band called Seasons that I heard recently that's on that bill. It's pretty good. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it all out. It seems like Australia is just pumping out the young bands right now. Like there's so much going on within the music of Australia. It's awesome.
It is definitely overflowing here at the moment. And you are being brought out here by Direct Touring. But you are the Black Dahlia Murder official on Facebook.
Yeah, that's right.
And people can go to the Black Dahlia official on Facebook and find out more about that tour, or they can go to Direct Touring because tickets are on sale at different venues and that across the country.
Yes, correct. And if they want to get a hold of us for any reason, the Facebook is a good way. It's usually me that's behind the keyboard there. So.
Ah.
If you want to, call me a fat ass or anything, it'll get right to me if you go to the Facebook.
Australia is definitely looking forward to having you here. Is there something that you want to say to your Australian fans?
Get ready, bring your drinking liver, and bring me a meat pie while you're at it.
There is something you're looking forward to here, meat pies.
Yes, oh yeah, I'm going to meat pie out. I love meat pies. And they taste like they're probably terrible for you, but I'll probably eat one every single day at least.
Yeah, they're full of all sorts of crap. And so Everblack is still available at this point in time as your latest release?
Yes.
And the Black Dahlia Murder are coming to Australia through Direct Touring. And it has been so good talking to you.
Right on, you too.
I look forward to seeing you in June. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. It was fun.